And now we step into the realm of the shinobi, of the samurai, of the Shodan. Shodan is a search engine for internet connected devices. You can pop search parameters into their search box and it will return information about what you've searched for. It's the Google for the machines that are connected to the internet. You knew this one was coming. It's probably by far one of the best open source intelligence tools out there, and it's honestly, if I wasn't limited to 20 searches a day, I could spend all night on Shodan just looking for various different things. It's so powerful. It can find things using default credentials. It can find things with no credentials. It can find MySQL servers in London. It can find websites hosted in your local city. It can find IP cameras with no password protection. It is a phenomenal tool that crawls the internet, indexes all these devices, grabs the headers and gives you various parameters that you can search in order to find these devices with the key syntaxes that you're looking for. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it, but Shodan is by far one of my favorite tools. It's a great search engine, and yeah, you can see how powerful it is in a moment when I start feeding it search strings. But yeah, be warned, with great power comes great responsibility. Yes, I'm ripping off Spider-Man, but it is so true in this case, because you can find things that are insecure and it wouldn't take you a lot to own it. Honestly, you can find open directories, you can find SMB servers with no authentication enabled, and you know what you can do with that. It's just overwhelming the amount of information you can find, and that people actually have these things online that, you know, who's managing these devices that we're able to find. So for instance, Shodan has a number of filters. We can do things like city equals London, and it will show you all devices that are in London. I've got to be careful because I don't want to expire my I've only got 20 search credits per day. You can do, for instance, you can refine it. You can say country equals GB. Let's zoom in on that. Product, okay, that didn't increase anything. Product equals MySQL. So you can find all SQL servers in London. You could find all servers in London that have port 22 open or port 2049 open. You can do, yeah, so you can search for things like port 3389. That'll give you MySQL servers. You can search for organizations. So if I wanted to do org, google.com, or let's go with, maybe not. Yeah, let's just go with google.com, or just Google because that's the organization name, and that will show you all the assets owned by Google LLC. Say if you wanted to find all operating systems that are running Windows. What you can also do, you can see that authentication enabled for SMB, but what you could also do is something along the lines of, and you have to bear with me because I've forgotten the syntax a little bit, so you do OS Windows and then you do has underscore screenshot, and then you type yes, and then that, okay, what have I done wrong there? Has screenshot, there we go, and then this will only return indexed items that have screenshots, and as you can see here, it's the remote desktop logging for a lot of things. But even if you just did a search for has screenshot, this will return things like IP cameras. Okay, you got a Windows login box there, Windows login box there, Windows login box there, you got an IP camera there. Do you see where we're at yet with how powerful this tool can be? And again, if you get some really good, there's cheat sheets out there, but if you get some really good search strings, you can find some really interesting things. So for instance, if I wanted to do authentication disabled, and I'm not sure what the RGB does, I won't lie, actually, I've got a different search for that. Authentication, let's try this. Authentication disabled net login sys volume Unix. I don't know why I've got Unix on there. Port 445. Okay, that didn't return anything. I have got the search query here, but I've not properly verified that it works. Invalid search query. Okay. There we go. Right. Now, as you can see here, your SMB status. SMB is short for server message block, I'm sure you know. It's a file sharing protocol that allows you to share resources across the internet. It's usually Windows based and has a plethora of issues where you can enumerate shares, you can enumerate usernames, you can drop scripts on it, execute it and get, like, you know, local system access on it. But as you can see here, this SMB server in India has authentication disabled, and they have admin, C drive, C. All of these are the drives that have been shared. You can see there you got C drive there, IPC, default, admin. A lot of these could just be honeypots, so you have to be careful. Again, you could be setting yourself up for failure if you're going in and trying to access these devices. But yeah, what this will typically find due to the additional parameters there is actually domain controllers. You can do it by just searching for port 445 with the search syntax of authentication disabled, and that will just find all SMB servers that have authentication disabled. I've tried to string a search string together for NFS servers for Linux, but I haven't got it working quite yet, and as I was making progress, I ran out of credits last night. So what I wanted to do is try to find a way that Shodan would index sort of NFS sites and like a welcome banner, like a default welcome banner that you could query for, but I haven't successfully been able to do it. What you can also do as well is, say you want to find an FTP server with anonymous login. Say you've written a really powerful tool but you don't want anyone to find it and you're about to be raided by the FBI or someone. Okay, I'm taking a piss, but do you know what I mean? Like, you may have a valid reason for a report to search for all servers on the internet or that have been indexed by search engines that allow anonymous logins. So you can throw this query syntax in it, and you can see there that all these FTP servers support anonymous login, which means you can log in, you can run queries like dir, download, get, upload. You got some in Russia, you got some in Taiwan. So again, this is the power of Shodan. It's amazing, and to get started you can sign up and log in. I believe I bought a initial access to it on Black Friday. I got it for like $4, I think it was. But yeah, keep an eye out on Black Friday to buy a Shodan license and get in, have a look around. It's a lot of fun. Okay, another one here. We've got authentication disabled VNC servers. VNC is a bit like RDP. Okay, that did not work. Yeah, VNC is like what am I doing? Like RDP. Done it again. Like RDP is some remote management protocol. You can see that authentication disabled, and if we were to try and connect to these through a web browser, it would bring us to the desktop of these machines. I suspect a lot of them have already been compromised, or as I said previously, are honeypots. What you can also do as well, say you're doing some bug bounties, probably not bug bounties to be honest, but say you are doing a penetration test or a vulnerability scan for an organization and no host is off limits, everything is within the scope of the engagement. What you can do is you can type in org, Google, and then do something like ssl.cert expired equals true, and then that will return all the Is it underscore cert underscore expired? Ah, I missed the D off the end. And that will return all the SSL certificates for hosts owned by Google that have been expired. And what we can do is if we just visit that, you can see there we get the warning, potential security risk ahead, as you will with all of them. Again, I just put that together yesterday because I thought that would be a bit of fun. You know, I could use it for work if I ever got the choice. But there are so many other examples here. So if you go to the Explore section, you can find industrial control systems, databases, network infrastructure, Minecraft servers. And what the best thing is about Shodan is Shodan 2000.